So one of the big hot topics in the beer and soft drink sector at the moment is for on-trade draught systems for both beer and soft drinks, and what kind of digital and sensing technology can do within the sector. Now, there's consensus in the industry that this is important enabling technology to get very useful insight and improve efficiency and quality for all stakeholders, the brewery, the bars and the consumer. And there are broadly three kind of approaches that breweries can take to kind of rolling out this technology. The first, engaging with one of the many startups that offer this kind of box of tricks and a service to extract the data. Second, to engage with the traditional draft equipment suppliers and the digital solutions that they're offering. And the third being do it yourself. I think all are viable options, but there are kind of risks and challenges associated with all of them, and it's important to make an important, strategic decision on which approach to take. Now, for me, some of the kind of pros and cons on these are the startups, I think, offer a very low barrier to entry, completely independent to your existing suppliers, and so potentially quite easy to test and easy to engage with. I think some of the costs can be high, not so much in the box that you need to kind of get this data, but from the kind of monthly costs associated with getting access to that data. And there's also the risk of understanding what will happen to that startup. For example, one of the kind of big players, big startups in this area, Weissberger, they were bought out by AB InBev just a few weeks ago, and that goes to show it's an interesting example of what will happen to that and the other brewers that are kind of using that system. With the traditional equipment suppliers, a lot of them, if not all of them, are offering kind of digital options to their existing equipment. And for me, the challenge there is, do you commit to just one? Or do you have kind of multiple ecosystems, because I don't believe any of them will work with each other, and given that most breweries will buy equipment from most of those suppliers, how do you manage that? And so that's an important business decision. And then the final option obviously has development risks. Doing it yourself has upfront costs associated with it, as well as just the kind of risk and impact of kind of owning and deploying the system yourselves. So it's important to make that a kind of clear decision based on the technology, but also the requirements of these kind of systems from your business, and also having the kind of vision of what can be done. And that brings me on to my final point, which is what can we get out of this data? I think most of what I've seen to date has been all quite obvious. Flow sensors to look at how much beer is flowing through, temperature sensors to look at quality, cleaning sensors to see how often the lines are being cleaned. And this is all good stuff, but for me the real value will come from getting far more insight, so doing real analytics on that raw data to get better understanding of the kind of bars, more high level performance, how can they improve, what can be done from a predictive point of view, from a maintenance, but also making sure supply chain is much better. And I think that's a missed opportunity at the moment with using sophisticated analytical approaches, be that machine learning or other kind of algorithmic techniques, to really get into the detail of that. And that requires not just the technical ability to do that and knowing what approaches are available, but also the commercial insight to understand what might be valuable for these businesses. But without doubt, digital is here to stay in the sector, but now I think is a crucial time to be deciding exactly what the strategy should be and how do you implement this for your business.